3 wins over Power 5 conference teams, scoring 96 points a game. Their starting lineup is the same as it has been for their first 4 games. Marcanvis Hyman will start for the 2nd straight game for Ole Miss, but Cole Huff, as he was yesterday, might be the key for Creighton today.
And Cole Huff excels. Now look for Ole Miss to go in early to Saiz inside to try to establish the inside game, because you've got DeAndre Burnett on the outside. 41 points in the opener. Paradise Jam record for Burnett.
NC State tried to run with Creighton yesterday. They had some success in the first half. Then they got worn down. Their depth was a problem, and Creighton ran away from them in the second half. Ole Miss isn't particularly deep, but as Kevin just told you, Andy Kennedy wants to try and run with the Blue Jays.
And Rashad Brooks is on Maurice Watson. They're putting Link on number 10.
Foster is the last one to touch. Kennedy, who's now 20th all-time in SEC coaching wins. He's averaged 21 wins a year in 10 years. This team had 3 21-win seasons in 96 years before he took over.
He is the best kept secret in the SEC. Andy Kennedy has continued to produce, and huge excitement for Rebel basketball.
Angles his way out of bounds to find the cutter, and Hyman's got the first 2. Watson bumped down to the floor. Same man who started the scoring also picks up the first foul. Greg McDermott has averaged almost 24 wins a year in his 6 years leading the Blue Jays. Already knocked off another thing off his resume he had never accomplished, never beaten an ACC team until he hammered NC State yesterday.
And a huge win over Wisconsin before they made the trip down here to Paradise.
Saiz seals off Justin Patton, one of the best freshmen in the country. Ole Miss is averaging almost 90 points a game. They lead the SEC there. Burnett's been a big part of it, and so has Saiz when he's been able to put up big games.
And their ability to get to the free throw line and score points with the clock stopped.
Rasheed Brooks, a little bit of a ball fake, then a 3. Great start for the Rebels.
I said Brooks is locked on to number 10, Maurice Watson, with length.
That length didn't bother Watson there. Falling away, the 5'10 senior hits it.
Boy, is he fun to watch. Guts of a cat burglar. He's going to attack anybody that guards him.
Here's DeAndre Burnett now. 41 in the opener. Yesterday sagged off a little bit and became a little bit more passive. Saiz picked up the slack. Here's Cullen Neal.
Well, Neal's had a good tournament shooting a 3 ball, but that was not what they needed.
Saiz got a piece of that one. It still goes home for Kyrie Thomas, who had a big run through the NIT last year. It was huge for the sophomore's development.
Well, Kyrie Thomas is their slasher. In the open court, impossible to stop the young man from Benson High School right out of Omaha.
Creighton starts a couple of guys from Omaha. Not something that usually happens. Him and Patton both started the opening game for Greg McDermott. Something that hasn't happened in 16 years for Creighton. Here's what they've done. 3 power conference teams they have blown out, pulled away from Wisconsin late.
Well, Big Ten, Pac-12, and now they've got an SEC school and a victory over an ACC school yesterday in North Carolina State. Adding to the resume.
Now Brooks sliding over to his left. Long rebound to Watson. It triggers the run. Bounces one down there to Patton. It was deflected out by Saiz.
Now Ole Miss doing an excellent job of getting back in transition, getting the ball stopped. But the game changes when the Jays go to their bench. Their bench has been able to build leads, and then the starters can come back in with fresh legs.
That's what makes Creighton so tough this year. They have 3 players coming off their bench with starting experience and a sophomore who's got 5 early points here in Thomas.
Thomas shooting 58% from beyond the arc. Tough cover.
But he commits the foul. back on the other end. Get a look at Kevin Lehman's keys here. It's about tempo.
Well, Andy Kennedy says he wants to run, but he's got to know when to run and when to control tempo. And they got the 1-2 punch. It's got to go inside to Saiz, back out to Burnett. They have a great combination there. For the Jays, bench strength. It's always about bench strength. And team speed. They have speed at two most important positions. That point guard position and the big man inside. Justin Patton.
Cole Huff baited Hyman into taking that shot. They wanted him to take it. He makes him pay. Hard hedge for Saiz. Hyman then goes flying by Huff. Patton's got the finish on the lob from Huff.
They love that play where they just lob up around the rim, and this 7-footer, just a freshman, Justin Patton, out of Omaha North, making a statement early.
He replaces Jeffrey Grossell, much different player than Grossell was.
Well, Justin Patton is like a young colt, thoroughbred. He can run.
Blocks that one off the glass, but Saiz, it comes right down to him.
This could be a good matchup. Saiz with 7'4" wingspan. Can challenge shots.
Now here's Huff, the stretch four, who excels outside the arc. And the foul is against Cullen Neal. Both teams have hit 4 of their first 7 shots. Both teams have 9. Family affair out here in St. Thomas. Man in the button-down shirt, Nels Hawkinson, runs Basketball Travelers and puts on this tournament. His son, Josh, was once a ball boy for this tournament, has evolved into one of the best big men in the country at Washington State, and he was given a ball to commemorate his 1,000th point, which he picked up here in this tournament. He also got a pretty nifty towel with an airbrush of himself, autographed by a lot of people on this island who watched him grow up. He's part of family here on St. Thomas.
Outstanding young man, and one of the best rebounding big men in the country.
He was a finalist for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award last year. That goes to the best big man.
A little zone on the Rebels.
Speaking of the Abdul-Jabbar Award, this freshman is on the watch list, and Patton is heading to the line for a couple of shots.
There's a huge upside for number 23, Justin Patton, and there's a number of NBA scouts in the stands tonight watching this young man. 7 foot, 230. He was a beanpole last year when they redshirted Justin Patton. Got some pounds on him, and he can run from inline to inline. Like Usain Bolt.
One thing he should work on a little bit, the free throw percentage. Only 19 years old. He went from a relative unknown as a junior in high school. 2 years later, he's one of the top freshmen in the country.
And coached by a former player of mine, Jared Anderson, at Omaha North. Helped develop the big man skills.
Ole Miss has gone to its bench early. Firminovic with the take and the finish for Eustace Firminovic.
Andy Kennedy likes bringing Firminovic off the bench because he gives them a spark. Excellent offensive rebounder, but then we saw some skills taking it right to the hoop.
It started the first 3 games, now off the bench, but it's tough to defend Watson, who shows off that little fadeaway again.
Well, Watson can dance with the ball, can score on the bigs.
Davis also in off the bench. Foster lost his balance, and Davis with the circular move spins it through.
Well, Terrence Davis has given the Rebels some big moments in this tournament.
Trying Eustace Firminovic now, trying to check Huff. He'll foul him, and it'll be the Nevada transfer heading to the line now.
Watch Davis baseline. Excellent body control. Eye on the prize. Gets him off the glass.
Talk to the coaches, and they'll tell you Cole Huff is still working his way back a little bit from off-season knee surgery. Also battled some shoulder problems last year. He has shown no ill effects of either injury in this tournament.
Well, for some reason, when he gets on a neutral court, he elevates his game. And now you can see the Jays already going to their bench as they have 3 in: Zierden, Hansen, and Hegner.
Burnett down to his knees, and it's taken away by one of those guys off the bench, Hansen.
And Zierden, a starter last year. Some real pop off the bench.
Saiz cleans up the Watson miss. Here's DeAndre Burnett. Zierden sag off.
Well, Burnett's got to get hot again for the Revs.
Hansen rolls one off. It doesn't happen often. He had hit 16 of his first 18 shots. That's actually correct. You could look it up. It's hard to believe.
And one of those misses, those 2 misses, part of that was a block shot. Zach Hansen, here, South Dakota, the big man. He doesn't miss those point blankers.
Andy Kennedy got a break on one end, but then they give it back on the other. Maybe a habit of.
You got to adjust to this Creighton bench because you've got the high-flying Justin Patton, then you come in with the physical Zach Hansen in the post.
Hansen set the screen, slashes down, he's blocked by Davis.
Well, Terrence Davis is going to be an X-factor in this game.
There he goes again. This is where he's at his best, when he can attack. Saiz with the offensive rebound.
We were watching one of the best rebounders in the country, Sebastian Saiz.
Burnett looks like he's having trouble with his footing. He's slipped a couple of times here. This time it leads to an offensive foul.
And he's talking with the official right now about that floor may be a little damp. Now we see the tall boys out there. He's going to take a seat. He did not like that call. And I talked to him in the lobby yesterday. I said, hey, 41-point performance. A little bit off your game yesterday. You know, I just woke up, wasn't feeling well. And I spoke to Andy Kennedy. He said, you know, these guys come down here. You're in the sun, the humid weather, around the hotel. You got to learn how to take care of your bodies. It's a learning experience for Coach Kennedy's team.
But Kennedy has gone deep down his bench early. Schillinch just defending that turnaround.
Well, he knows he has to match the numbers that Creighton is going to use in this game.
Partner, you just said a moment ago that Terrence Davis could be an X-factor today. He's been aggressive now 3 times. A former wide receiver who had big-time offers, chose basketball instead, has a trip to the line.
And this is the first year he's really just focused on becoming a basketball player. In a huge game against Oral Roberts. Second half, they gave him the start, responded.
Just 19 years old.
He's got a little bit of that irrational confidence that you like to see in players, and he can score on anybody.
Confidence is confidence, whether rational or not, right?
Well, sometimes you take it places where you shouldn't when you have the irrational confidence syndrome.
Lead's already changed hands 6 times. We're not even 8 minutes in. Clement handling the point now with Watson on the bench. Finds Hegner over there. The stretch 4 makes a living outside the arc.
Huff goes out, and they replace him with a bigger stretch 4 in Toby Hegner. The Jays have already used 9 players.
Now Hegner on this end smacks one out of bounds. Rebels ball when we get you back.
Andy Kennedy said he was going to run with the Jays, but he's done an excellent job of controlling tempo. They're picking their spots. 17-15. This is a lower pace than the Jays are used to.
And because the Jays aren't converting on some close to the basket, Ole Miss is controlling the tempo, and Brooks has hit another big shot.
But when you can score the basket it's easier to control the tempo because now you can set up your press and make them take it out of the net. Ole Miss, little three-quarter court pressure, slow down the Jays, and now back to their zone.
Dangerous to play a zone against this Creighton team. Davis has his hands on it. Schillich takes it away.
Well, it's been successful for the Rebels early in this game. They'll see if the Jays can solve the zone problem, but you got to be able to hit the jump shot to set your zone up.
Hansen battling for it out to the perimeter. It comes to the walk-on Clement.
Well, Clement has been outstanding in spelling Maurice Watson Jr.
Brooks took it away from Hegner, wins it at midcourt. Neal was begging for it, set up for that three, which doesn't go down, but it's Davis on the offensive glass. So Brooks will try again from this side. How about the start for Brooks? He's got 9 early points for the Rebels. McDermott, due to the 6-0 run for Ole Miss, another part to get Justin Patton back into the game. He was sitting at the table for a couple of possessions.
And Marcus Foster has been quiet in this game on the bench now. Again, the three-quarter court pressure will slow down the tempo.
Saiz and Firminovic were out high in that zone. It vacated the baseline, but Saiz comes back to collapse on the board.
And Huff with an off-balance shot.
Out of that timeout, Andy Kennedy brings DeAndre Burnett back in off of his bench. Thomas working hard just to keep the ball out of his hands.
That was a dangerous pass. A little too much helium under that pass.
Firminovic runs through Huff without a call, then scores around Patton.
Firminovic is fearless, and he's at the point of this press. Great lateral movement. Long arms.
Rare turnover for Watson, caused by the length of Firminovic up top.
He is the energy guy for the Rebels. Little spin move. Gets it up on the backboard before the shot blocker Patton arrives.
Kevin, we've been down here all week. We've seen Ole Miss play now 3 times. We haven't seen Firminovic play with this confidence or energy yet.
Well, he came off the bench and got some rebounds from him. He started the first game and then sat the second game, but came back and rebounded the ball for Ole Miss.
Brooks got Foster in the air, then he gets the hometown roll here in St. Thomas.
Brooks has a little bit of irrational confidence right now. Everything's going in the hole.
10 unanswered for Ole Miss. Watson with another tough one, fortunate off Patton's hands.
Marcus Foster has to get involved in the Creighton offense.
He's trying. Ran over Neal, popped to the top of the key, his first points of the night.
Big time score for the Jays. 3-point shot, post up. But you can see the Rebels now. They're controlling tempo.
Oh, there's your irrational confidence. One of those, don't you dare take that shot. It doesn't even touch the rim. Brooks, feel the groove. Brooks closes out on Foster. Talks to him a little bit on the way back.
Now Foster says, whatever you can do, I can do better.
One of the keys to this start here for Ole Miss, the way they've been able to control this game, they have kept the Creighton crowd somewhat under control.
Well, excellent point. Because they've made shots.
They'll discuss it, and it will stay on this end of the floor. Joe Lindsay had it.
Rasheed Brooks. Everything's going in now, and then the answer at the other end. Marcus Foster, the transfer from Kansas State.
He'll stay on the bench for a bit of an extended breather here. Brian Tyree remains on the floor in his place. The freshman guards out there as the senior guard. Here's Foster, who started his career at Kansas State. Shouldn't surprise you with his body type, and you'll see the explosion. Yes, he can hit the three, but he can rise, show the power. Tries to pattern his game after Russell Westbrook.
Well, he had a great career at K-State, 14 points a game. 138 threes in 2 years for the Wildcats.
Burnett, Zierden gave him just a little bit of room. On the offensive glass, Saiz will earn himself a trip to the line. Working hard on the inside.
Well, you're seeing a young man, Sebastian Saiz. 11 career double-doubles. Right now, the leading rebounder in the SEC.
His goggles are back up. He was messing around up and down in yesterday's game when he was at the free throw line. He had more success with them up. He wears them because of a detached retina he suffered last year, forced him to miss 7 games.
He went 1 for 2 with the goggles on twice from the free throw line yesterday. Now he's elected to put him back up with more success.
Hegner had Hansen. He couldn't get it in there.
Oh, Hansen has man sealed.
Now Zierden a little bit short. Hegner doesn't have the tip, but Hansen collects the loose ball. Saiz turns him away. Hansen's going to try again, but he didn't have the angle. He was pinned underneath.
Well, Saiz is very deceptive. He's 6'9", but we mentioned his 7'4" wingspan.
No call. Officials letting him play here. Burnett rolls it off, and Firminovic with another offensive board. Why not? Burnett rips it away from Hansen, now underneath.
Well, the Jays are going to have to get a body on Firminovic. He is creating second chance opportunities for the Rebels.
For the first time in this tournament, and one of the few times this year, you're seeing a Creighton team that's not playing with as much confidence and poise as they have.
Well, they can't get the tempo going. Andy Kennedy said, we're going to run, but he's picking his spots. On a made basket, they're walking this thing up, setting their offense, making the Jays play some D.
Burnett turns down the screen, drains the 3.
When he gets in the groove, Burnett, number 1, watch out.
Hansen, the trailer, Saiz turns that one away. We knew the bigs would be important.
Well, Saiz has protected the rim time and time again for Ole Miss.
Rebels said they wanted to run. They've done anything but. Firminovic just shorts the 3. Foster's pull-up 3. You wanted him to get going. He's keeping Creighton close right now.
They've locked up Maurice Watson because they can't get the ball off the rim, and they have not gotten live ball steals.
There's the call the Blue Jays wanted 2 possessions ago. This one's going against Cullen Neal.
Burnett, 11 quick points. And when you look at the stat sheet here, you got 11 offensive rebounds for Ole Miss. And it's led to 15 second chance points.
The other thing the strong half of the Rebels is doing, Creighton can't go as deep down its bench. Their starters are playing bigger minutes here in this first half.
Yeah, excellent point. They are. We've seen the second 5 come in for the Jays and play long minutes, but Greg McDermott has tightened up the rotation.
Davis. Foster was caught looking the other way at the Saiz screen. You're going to count that one for Terrence Davis.
Excellent ball move. They call that playing the second and third side of the court. Reverse it back and forth, and then the gap opens up, and the explosive move. Terrence Davis. Clubhouse roll. Ball goes in.
Very balanced effort here for Ole Miss. A lot of different players are contributing.
Again, as they score, they can set their defense, slow down this Jays offense.
Largest lead of the night right now for Ole Miss. Late help came on Pat. Zierden was left alone.
Well, Zierden misfired his first three ball, but he was perfect last night, going 4 for 4 from deep. Young man had 31 starts last year for the Jays.
Now Davis over Foster.
Bad shot for the Reds.
They're able to get back. Brooks was able to check Huff, force him to pull up down there at the block. Watson eventually wins it. Foster reverses it through.
Well, they've taken the penetration. The Rebs have taken the position with that three ball from the top of the key. Now the Rebs have had to attack.
How about this? Ole Miss has been in control for the majority of this half. It's the first time Creighton has been pushed this hard in a single game, despite the fact that they've played a great schedule. Even when they had Wisconsin at their place, that was going back and forth. They pulled away late.
Had to run late in the second half against the Badgers that opened it up. But you know what happens sometimes, when you put that ranking number 12 on your back, becomes a huge bullseye, an opportunity for Ole Miss to make a statement.
You read my mind. Brooks with the angle. You can go the other way with it as well. Greg McDermott has already said, he said it yesterday, look, rankings don't matter until March. But the players, 18, 19, 22 years old, they see it.
You just read my mind on that thought.
That's what happens when you spend a week together here at St. Thomas. Davis almost dragged that back foot. Then he lost it off the ground. Huff wins it off the floor. Blue Jays aren't one to necessarily hold for the last shot. Now they may, having to reset their offense.
Well, that was one of the few times they got a live ball turnover, but Ole Miss still got back, had Watson stop, the defense set. Now the shot clock almost identical to the game clock at 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, they tried to push it up and get the easy two. Marcus Foster has paced him here with 15 points in the half. The only player for the Blue Jays in double figures.
Looks for Huff in the corner.
Or Watson down the lane. Saeed pulls it off the rim. Watson picks the pocket at the buzzer. Can't get it to fall.
Stuck out to me was the same that stuck out to him. Ole Miss is killing them on the board. They said that was one thing he stressed to his team during the halftime. They've got to get far more aggressive on the boards and make sure they get every opportunity, because Ole Miss is certainly not giving them any, guys.
For Manavicius, who was such a key in the first half off the bench, he'll start this second half with a nifty move on the baseline.
Oh, that was wicked.
Watson turns it over for the second time. He has 2 turnovers and just 1 assist.
Now, Maurice Watson came into this game leading the nation in assists. He just got 1 today with a couple turnovers. We said he has the keys to the Blue Jay bus.
Marcus Foster stuck right with Burnett, but the kind bounce down to Saeed. Another offensive board.
Another second chance opportunity for Ole Miss, and to make the Jays play some defense.
Thomas is going to clear that one out.
5 blue jerseys back, defense set. The Jays have got very little in transition.
As well as Ole Miss is hitting the offensive glass, does it stop Creighton's transition because they got to focus on the defensive glass?
But when you talk to Coach McDermott, he mentions that they've been so good defensively rebounding Creighton, because most people send 5 back. The Rebs are not. They're sending 3 to the glass.
Not the start to the second half Greg McDermott was looking for.
Get up to $400 back and get 20 gigs of data with no surprise overages and 4 lines for only $40 each. Why settle when you can have it all on Verizon?
Blue Jays are left with 2 timeouts now and 4 seconds on the shot clock for this possession. Firminovic guards the inbound. It's Burnett who takes it away. Out up front to Neal. He avoids Foster for the 2.
A set play by the Jays. Turned into easy points for the Rebs.
Watson, though, slices through. Missed it at the rim. And Ole Miss is the one who knocks it across the baseline. The fact that Ole Miss is doubling up Creighton in bench points is stunning. Their bench is averaging 42 points a game in their first 2 games in this tournament.
And it's starting on the offensive glass. 13 offensive rebounds for Ole Miss.
Even their tailor-made lob to Patton doesn't work with Firminovic in the game. All the hustle stats. Firminovic is there. He's at the top of that press in the defense.
You have the link of Sebastian Saez, rim protector.
Double team comes from Huff. Ball reverses around here to Neal.
The Jays have put Kyrie Thomas on Rasheed Brooks, trying to slow him down.
Neal forced to take that deep one late in the shot clock. One of the better defensive possessions for the Blue Jays.
But still, Blue Jersey's back. Nothing easy.
Huff hedged off from Firminovic and drills the 3 in his face.
Oh, and Eustace just shakes his head because Huff just a jab step to create some space. Kyrie Thomas just locked on to Brooks.
Firminovic just drives in on Huff. We're going to get a foul here on Huff. He wanted the continuation in the goaltend. That's not coming.
Well, the fact that Kyrie Thomas is locked chest to chest onto Brooks allows that drive. But look at this little step back move. Drop the ball, get the defender to drop his hands. 6'9". Huff is so adept at creating space.
That matches his career high with 7 points here.
But his points have not been the difference in this game. It's been his activity on the offensive glass, his wingspan defensively. Number 5-0 in blue, watch him.
A lot of things that aren't necessarily showing up in the box score, too, like right there, keeping the ball out of Huff's hands. Patton, the 7-footer with the agility and the foot speed there.
Well, he has been quiet with that opening dunk. That was a sweet move by the 7-footer.
Saez gave Burnett a little bit of room. It's going against Creighton, holding Saez out of the lane.
Patton, watch this move. Now this is a 7-footer who redshirted last year. This is his first year of basketball. Look at the footwork and the adept finish.
Foster couldn't bring that one in, so the Rebels have a fresh 30. There aren't many big men in college basketball that are going to stop that move from Patton.
Well, plus he has a motor, and he can go north and south as well as any big man in the country.
Watson late closing out. Neal hits the deck after the 3. Thomas stripped by Brooks. Will stay on this end.
And that's what Creighton wants, tempo. They want to get the ball floor, let Thomas, the slasher, attack. But the alley closed quickly.
Creighton has had the lead for less than 4 minutes in this game. It's been controlled by Ole Miss. Saez was close to 10 rebounds in the first half. He's got 12 now. Careless turnover. Here's a 3-on-2. Watson camped out there. Here come the Blue Jay fans. They've been waiting for something to get them going.
And Andy Kennedy standing over that is what he does not want to happen. The live ball turnovers to give Creighton numbers going downhill.
Huff comes on the double team to Saez. Davis with the step and the feed, but Saez couldn't handle it.
Hayes may have gotten away with a walk.
And this is what you're talking about when you say the Rebels kind of play out of control. They get a 2 out of it.
Brooks, junkyard dog.
Here's Foster now. Same spot Watson just hit.
Both teams heating up.
So's the tempo.
And we'll see when Greg McDermott is comfortable to go with his bench again.
Here's Neal. Watson sagged in on the help, and again, Neal burns him.
And Watson took the gamble.
Patton able to bring it in and save it back to Thomas. Watson just hasn't been able to create. Patton travels with it. He came in leading the country in assists. You called him a water bug. And
their strategy is not to send 5 back or 4.5 back in defensive transition. They're sending people to the basket, and that is slowing down Creighton's ability to get out on the break. They have to stay and block out and battle on the glass. Very effective strategy by Andy Kennedy.
First time we've seen that strategy employed. Everybody else has been so concerned about the pace, they run them back. Creighton can expect to see a little bit more of this down the way.
Well, it's led to 14 offensive rebounds by the Rebels. Second chance opportunities building up huge for Ole Miss.
Foster, Davis did a great job to stay with him, and it didn't matter. Foster's out to 23 now.
That is wicked. Step back, hand in your face. Foster drills it.
Now Brooks over Hansen, just floats it through.
Well, these two players have been sensational. Brooks and Foster.
Brooks then got a hand on that one.
Watson has not got in the interior of the Ole Miss defense this entire game. Got in there once and missed the layup.
And his favorite lob to Patton, that hasn't worked out for him either.
Got one early, then it's been shut down.
Pushes a pass out to Thomas. That'll be an assist for Watson. And Creighton's fought their way back to within 4.
Well, here they come, and then you've got Hansen ready to come in off the bench, along with Zierden, the three-point shooter.
Neal bumps into Patton. They're going to get a foul here on the big man, Patton. And that's just his second.
Pinned down. Thomas, just enough room from Patton sealing in the defense. Okay, here comes the bench of the Jays. Let's see what they can do. Down 4.
Zierden fell down. Incidental contact with Hyman. It led to that ball movement and eventually the miss. Here comes Foster. There's Watson into the middle. He's blocked by Davis.
Davis just measured him up.
Burnett pulled the way to the rim. They'll lay it through.
Now you can see Hyman trying to deny the pass to Watson. They're getting the ball out of his hands with this three-quarter court pressure.
Wide open. Hegner connects.
Outstanding ball movement by the Jays. One of the problems with three-quarter court pressure is you've got to get back and circle the wagons and find people. The Rebels couldn't get back to the weak side to find it.
What a catch on the inside to save it for Hyman. And he's going to earn himself a trip to the line. But Kevin, the 3 ball right now for Creighton has cut 11 down to 3.
They're shooting it quick again against that three-quarter court pressure. Hegner back on that weak side, just toeing the line, waiting for it to come back to him.
Here's Hyman now. He's celebrating his 19th birthday on this trip down here to St. Thomas. Andy Kennedy called him the Rebels version of KG. By that he meant he can get balls that aren't necessarily in his area code. He can find a way to get to anything on the floor.
They led the Rebels in blocked shots and field goal percentage last season. Energy player off the bench for Ole Miss. Ole Miss is active in the zone.
Foul will go against Schillich. That's a credit to Foster, isn't it? He was pinned dead to rights there in the corner.
Well, what we underestimate about the Rebs is their length. Well, this trapping zone that we're seeing is effective because of the great length and lateral speed of this Rebel defense.
Here's Hegner now from the other corner. He's got him within one.
Well, we said the bench is coming in. Here comes the posse for the Blue Jays. Zerden, Hansen, and Hegner.
Brooks gets the timeout.
Hands and has had other people become playmakers.
For Kennedy, this trip was about figuring out who this team was. He already knows they can play in tight games. First three were all tight. Burnett bumps off Hegner. Nicely drawn up play out of the timeout.
And Andy Kennedy talked about he has to reinvent his team every year because he's bringing in transfers. This year it was Burnett and Cullen Neal. So they're still trying to get some identity and synergy in this trip.
That was the first time Hegner was well out the arc. And now Ole Miss will walk it up the floor.
What Ole Miss is doing, except for a couple minutes, is keeping the crowd out of this game.
And that'll help. Another one from Burnett. If he starts getting going, he can be that volume scorer.
Oh, he's a volume shooter. His arm will out.
Foster, Watson growing together in their first year playing together. Good cut right there from Foster. Three-point lead right now for Ole Miss. 10:20 to go in the game.
And this is the deepest we've seen Andy Kennedy go to his bench. He's trusting Schillich and others.
And Fitzpatrick Dorsey, who doesn't have the range there. Hansen has the position in there on
again, playing the second side. The ball was reversed. Hansen gets his socks in the box and pins his man. Just wait for the ball to come back.
Who touched it last? Burnett did. Foster made the play. Burnett touched it last right in front of Kennedy.
He's trusting Schillich and others.
And Fitzpatrick Dorsey, who doesn't have the range there. Hansen has the position in there on Schillich. 1 point game.
Again, playing the second side. The ball was reversed. Hansen gets his socks in the box and pins his man. Just waits for the ball to come back.
Who touched it last? Burnett did. Foster made the play. Burnett touched it last right in front of Kennedy. We're not yet at the point where we can go to the monitor to check this one out. I think it's tough to tell from that angle.
Quick hands by Foster. We're on the other side of the court. If we could make the call. Andy Kennedy had a bird's eye view.
Trying to go back down inside. Hansen lost the dribble, and Brooks is able to keep it in as Hansen stays down, clutching his left ankle underneath the basket.
He's playing 5-on-4.
And still get a turnover out of it. Hansen tries to just hobble out of the way. Here comes the whistle. Career, but Ole Miss gives it right back.
Terrence Davis throws it to no one in particular. But look at the height now. You've got Hyman at the point of this press. Big wingspan, active, quick feet. Just overshadowing Watson.
Tries it again. This time, Patton's there for the flush.
Now Watson baited him, found the gap. A little hip alley-oop.
It's the largest lead for the Blue Jays tonight. 4 points.
Watch this play now. And Patton knows what his partner's going to do as he rises and punches one through.
Rasheed Brooks. Such a key in the first half. First basket in 4.5 minutes here in the second for the Rebels. DeAndre Burnett wants the ball in his hands. You can sense it.
And Brooks, that huge first half, he's been quiet. That last one he splashed through.
Speaking of splash, Neal does it and ties the game. In one motion, Thomas collects, drives, then lost it. So here's Hegner from the top. Extra pass down from Foster. Thomas had to think about it. The hesitation may have caused the miss. We got a foul on the Rebels.
Well, Kyrie Thomas was surprised how open he was. Then I think Thomas also looked down to see where the three-point line was, and it got him out of rhythm.
Martin Krumpel, redshirt freshman from Slovenia, makes his first appearance here.
Well, Watson becoming more of a factor here in the second half.
Krumpel turns it over first time he touches it. This has been the story of the Rebels season. Beat UT Martin by 3. Came back to beat UMass 11 unanswered down the stretch. Needed overtime in their first round game here. Andy Kennedy said he's been in this business too long to age a little bit with those close games. Had a breather yesterday, but we're right back in the same spot here.
But you're making a great point. They've been in the close games. Creighton, other than the Wisconsin game, have not been challenged. And that builds your confidence that you can finish in the last minute. That's what it looks like this game is going to.
Here's a deep one from Cullen Neal. Is it against Patton? Four fouls now on Patton. And remember, Hansen had to be helped to the bench and into the locker room.
Krumpel got 2 possessions. Both resulted in turnovers, and he was right back out of the game. So now you've got Cole Huff into the game. It's going to move Toby Hegner down to that 5 spot. So we've got the stretch 5 and the stretch 4 for the Jays.
What you can't see with the chair or the bench in the way of Hansen's leg, that left ankle is heavily wrapped in ice.
I'm glad it was an ankle and not a knee.
Rebels miss a chance on the front end of the 1-and-1. We're inside 4.5 to go.
Different look in the zone. Went from the 1-through-1 back to the 2-3. They'll run somebody in the high post. There's Thomas.
Active hands from the Miami transfer, Burnett. Watson doesn't even draw.
It was an odd misfire by Watson. Wasn't even close.
Hasn't been in rhythm all night. Hasn't been his usual self, taking care of the basketball.
He's got 4 assists, 4 turnovers. This defense and the length at the point of the defense has bothered at least Watson.
Burnett has it stripped. Here's where Watson's at his best. Leading the run out. A late pass down to Thomas. It's an and one try for Kyrie Thomas.
Well, Greg McDermott is an experienced team that understands where they're at. And Andy Kennedy, he wants his team to play like their hair's on fire. They're emotion. It's an emotion team.
Saiz has to dribble out of there. The double team came.
Now the Jays have been red hot from the three-point line.
That's what got him back in it here in the second half. Hegner got a piece of that one from Hyman.
But it's been countered by giving up 17 offensive rebounds to the Rebels. He gave up 16 to the Badgers and still won the game.
Foster cradles it, then he lost it down to the floor. They don't have numbers. Brooks will pull up for 3. That's a quick shot, and it goes over to the Blue Jays.
But you know, I'm watching Andy Kennedy just shrug his shoulders. That's the way we play. Gives his players confidence to catch and fire.
Hegner thought he was coming out of the game when Patton came in, but he's staying in. It's Cole Huff who'll get a break.
And back with the three-quarter court pressure, Andy Kennedy keeps changing up the defenses, keeping the Jays out of any flow.
With Firminovic back into the game. Patton in with 4 fouls and another flush. Largest lead of the night for the Blue Jays. Another 1-and-1 here for Ole Miss.
Now here's Watson. He's going to take it right into the teeth of the beast. And you got Patton walking on air to finish.
Creighton hit 8 out of their first 10 threes here in this half. And those second chance points, which allowed Ole Miss to balloon their lead up in the first half to 11, they've been held to 3 in the second half, and those were in the very early stages of this half. Brooks looks back at his teammates, says nothing free as he checks Watson at the top of the key.
You can see Watson's confidence has come back.
Got a block underneath.
Brooks got there late. The freshman Justin Patton helping him up.
Only the 6th foul on the Rebels here.
Well, they've been their zone has been effective with length. They have not fouled. They've kept Creighton off the free throw line, although they have given up a number of free balls, but that's what Creighton does. The Jays want to shoot the 3.
Third best three-point shooting team in the country at the early stage of the year.
Well, they're at 15 of 25 tonight. And there's number 16.
Courtesy of Kyrie Thomas, it's his 3rd.
Huge possession for the Rebs.
Burnett goes into Hegner. Patton knocks it off the floor from behind.
Now we've got 14 on the shot clock. Ole Miss likes to get Burnett a shot off of these OB plays. We saw it against Oral Roberts, put it into overtime. Pinned down by Saiz.
Instead, they ran Cullen Neal off the screens, but Watson able to close out there. 5 on the shot clock. Hegner, 2 hands into the back of Firminovichus. That'll be the 10th. Couple of shots for Eustace.
And just the Patton telling Hegner, hey, I was back here at the rim ready to protect.
They've corrected it. It's the 9th. Still a 1-and-1 for Firminovichus. It's a big correction right there.
Now Ole Miss forced to go man. Watson going to burn some clock. Now look for a high post screen by Patton.
He bluffed it. Watson wanted to get it down there. Watson able to blow by Saiz. 8-point game. 3 possessions now.
Watson, overdrive.
50 seconds to play. Saiz turned away by Patton. Burnett fouled, went into Patton, and if it is on Patton, which it's not, they're going to get Watson on the arm instead.
We've seen that play from Burnett time and time again. It's just a simple pin down screen. He comes out ball side. Head fake, goes baseline, draws the contact. Smart move, now he can score with the clock stopped and look for the Rebs to put some full court pressure on. So you got to get it out of Watson's hands.
This is the guy you want at the line.
Now, Greg McDermott bringing his ball handling team. He brings out Patton, Cole Huff in, along with Wagner, 2 bigs that can handle the rock.
Just the 2nd missed free throw of the year for Burnett. Saiz forced to foul with less than 40 seconds to play. Well, for a team that hasn't been pushed much, except for their home game with 15,000 behind them against Wisconsin, this Creighton team has showed some mettle here. Down 11, cut down on the offensive rebounds for Ole Miss, started burying threes, and really once Hansen went down with that injury, that was almost another spark for him.
And this is what you look for in these games like this. The different styles of play that Creighton has had to face. Andy Kinney with an excellent game plan to take away their fast break. It's forced the Blue Jays to play a style they haven't had to play in quite some time. Thomas, an excellent free throw shooter.
Largest lead of the night comes with less than 40 seconds to play. Another block there for Patton, and Creighton can sense it. They jumped from 22 up to 12 in the AP poll today. It was the largest jump in the country. They did it with back-to-back 100-point performances, made it look easy down here in St. Thomas.
Well, they came into this game with a target on their back. Ole Miss knew what they were up against, that they could make a name for themselves, make a statement nationally if they could pull the upset. Valiant effort by the Rebels.
And the Rebels, I think, did make a statement. There's one SEC team in the top 25. It happens to be Kentucky. Rebels, who were picked to finish 9th have acquitted themselves well against one of the better teams in the country. There's Saiz now, and that's going to do it. The Blue Jays are going to come away with another early season tournament victory. They grinded their way there.
You can see Greg McDermott just breathing a huge sigh of relief.
Foster carried him in the first half. Hegner off the bench in the second half. The Blue Jays